I'm Wayne Grace, and I'm here today at the Wacker Neuson facility in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, with my friend John Dotto. John, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for being here and bringing the good weather, Wayne.
It has actually been gorgeous here, and I have to head back home to Alabama tomorrow, and I'm not really looking forward to that because it's still super hot. The SM100 UTL, utility track loader, this is a really hot segment right now in general. And I think that there's just been a lot of excitement because of these new entries. But tell me, kind of some of the design philosophy and getting into this new market and how you guys wanted to set this machine apart.
As a business, we had to look at, hey, does this fit our model from a manufacturing standpoint, from a dealer distribution standpoint? The answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
So then the work begins. And what we do is product management and engineering then needs to go out to the market and find out what are the needs of this customer, who's using it, and what's most important to them. I guess if I had to really nail down two things that we were really looking for was, well, one of the things includes a lot of things, and that's operator comfort, and also some elements of what do we want that undercarriage system to look like, not susceptible to detracking.
Okay.
And we were also looking for a very specific footprint, which really is pointed right at the key users of this equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the footprint, tell us a little bit about the width that you guys were able to achieve as you move the width of the machine, narrower. Obviously you increase ground pressure. There's other detriments to it. So what is the width on this machine, and how did you guys arrive at that?
What engineering set out to do was get a narrow machine with the wider track. So almost everybody else out there is going to make you make a choice if you want to go to the wide track. So what we designed was a track system that kind of really hugs the frame. So it's 35.5 inches overall width, but you're on the 9-inch track.
Okay.
And what the top two markets for this type of equipment is landscapers and arborists, and also people working in and around backyards. So the wider track gives you lower ground pressure, less ground disturbance. So that was a key element that we were looking for, and we achieved it with the design that you see here.
Right, and the 35 inches, that's still going to get you within kind of like any single gates or
Yep, you got a half inch on either side. Right. You got to watch yourself getting in, but you can do it.
You can do it.
So you don't have to take out fence panels. So yeah, if you've got a 3-foot wide gate, you can get in there with this machine.
Obviously, you were talking about operator comfort. Tell us about some of the unique features and kind of thought that you guys put into that.
So before I get onto the platform, I want to show you one key thing that's really central to the design that was to make the operator as comfortable as possible. And that is this element right here, Wayne. So when we pop the hood on the SM100, and this one's been working, so there's a little bit of dust in the engine compartment here, but the cooling package is as far from the operator as we could get it. In fact, I think everybody else has the radiator package sitting right in front of the operator. So one of the things that the engineers set out to do was take this hot element and put it as far from the operator as possible. So when you're standing on that platform, even though those radiator systems are drawing air from around the operator and blowing through the engine compartment, they're still radiating heat back to the operator. So we wanted that as far from you as possible. So that's why we designed the cooling package that way with the operator in mind. Back onto sort of the beginning of your question about the operator environment and platform itself, starting at the actual platform that we stand on. So it's a nice large platform with some good cushioning. We do have a couple different cushion options. So depending on the weight of the operator, if you want something to be a little bit stiffer, you can get that. And then on the platform itself, also we have this operator presence pedal. So it's really critical for a couple of operational elements. One is for safety because it's tied into the park brake system. So when I step off of the operator presence pedal, the park brake automatically engages. So it's nice in an emergency situation, but obviously in more of a practical setting on a hill, and I need to get off the machine, just by stepping off, the park brake automatically engages. And then another thing that it's tied into is the auto idle system. So if I've got this thing throttled up and I'm doing work, when I step off the pedal, 5 seconds will auto idle the machine down.
It's such a practical design too, because you can see the big bright red pedal. As soon as you hit it, you hear the auto idle kick off and then kick back on.
You've got a light on the display that lets you know that you're either on or off the pedal. So yeah, it is pretty intuitive. From a simplicity of design with the ergonomics, we looked at a lot of different joystick styles that were out there, and we went with basically this really simple design with this circle around the drive group. So this is your ISO control style. So all of your drive functions are handled over here. So if I do need to full reverse, full forward, I can hang on to the circle here with my hand. And then the work group here, we give you a little extra room to move.
Nice.
The work group is really responsive also, so it's direct into the main valve. When you are dealing with sticky material, with wet material, which you're a landscaper, if you're flicking topsoil, you can do that either very finely or with some violence if you've got wet, sticky stuff and you need to clear the bucket. So work group right here.
One of the first things you notice whenever you step on this machine and kind of like kick it off and start moving is just how responsive it is, how much it turns. You gain a lot of confidence very quickly on this machine.
It's also at 5.3 miles an hour out of the factory. It's one of the fastest UTLs in the market today.
The power, we've got 1,000 pounds of lifting capacity on this machine too, but the hydraulic capabilities of this machine are also really impressive.
They're pretty good. So we're pushing about 19 gallons a minute on the auxiliary hydraulics, and what we have here is we just wanted all of our customers to be able to be familiar with the coupler system. So it's the same one that we use on our wheel loader products, on the telehandlers, on the skid steer loader product. So it's a faster block is what we call it, because that's the manufacturer on the block itself.
Yeah.
And it's what's called a connect under pressure style fitting. So if I depress the fitting, I'm relieving pressure on my hoses. So when I disconnect, I know that I'm dumping pressure out the hose so that the next time I go to reconnect, I don't have a deadhead situation and I've got to crack a line. So we did that there. And as long as I'm standing over here, and we haven't talked about it yet, the steel rolling components are another really important factor for the undercarriage system. So in here, it's a grease tension system. So really what you're looking at is just miniaturized technology from our CTL lineup. All steel rolling components, nothing to grease. We wanted to make sure that there were no grease fittings on any of the rollers. We don't want you to do additional maintenance on your machine. And then we've captived the first two rolling elements. Remember I was talking about detracking. So one of the things that can happen is as our track comes slack and that first idler starts to pull back towards roller number one, if I lose the geometry, the distance between those 2 points, the track can kind of slack underneath the first idler, creating a situation where in a side hill or a side turning movement, you might throw the track. So by mechanically combining those two elements, and you can see it here with the gray metal, every time you move the front idler, the first roller goes with it. And so that's a critical geometry. It's a little bit kind of engineering geeky. There's truth to that, that's a critical geometry when we're talking about making sure that we keep our tracks.
John, thank you so much for joining us today to take us through everything on this machine. Guys, be sure to check out wackerneuson.com, and if you are looking to stop by a dealer and take a look at this machine, you can find your local dealer there. But also check it out on ironpros.com. We've got the full Wacker Neuson lineup of equipment there. But on the SM100, you can hop in, read our latest editorial coverage, see videos like this one, check out photos, compare specs, and a whole lot more. Be sure to check out the SM100 on ironpros.com. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you again to John for talking with us today. We'll see you in the next one.